I know he's going to do everything possible, because I came to him at the most desperate and needy time in my life, and he took the worries away. One talk with him and it was like, okay, I'm in the right place. In 2014, I was diagnosed with liver cancer. So the doctors and surgeons just said, there's nothing we can do for you, you're too far gone. We'll wait it out, see how far, it could be 6 months or a year, and you can go ahead and still do chemo, radiation, and constant monitoring of the blood work. I didn't accept that, and I kept looking and searching, trying to find out someone who would just open me up and do open surgery and find out how far this cancer really did exist in my liver and how far I really had to go with it. And so I finally found, through another doctor who wasn't an oncologist, who wasn't a surgeon, he was just willing to help me and listen to my story, and says, I know of a doctor, and are you willing to go to California? I said, yes. So he called the doctor, I came here, I met with Dr. Bilchik, and he immediately looked over my scans that I had brought, looked over everything that I had sent to them, and he decided that it was immediate surgery. And I said, okay, and I listened to him explain what he was going to do, how he was going to do it, and that he was going to see how far the cancer had progressed in the liver. And then he was going to go ahead and he said to me, I will do everything I can for you, but there could be a chance when you wake up that I had to close you up and I couldn't do anything for you. And I was so relieved that I found someone who was willing just to look and open me up and do surgery. And I kind of let go of everything, all my questions. I kind of forgot everything because I was just so relieved that someone was willing to do that. So I gave him full authority, and I said to him, whatever you need to do, whenever you're in there, do whatever you have to. And he did. And when I woke up, he was standing in front of me, explained what he'd done, how he took the tumors out, how he took the right lobe of the liver out, and that everything looked good so far. And he said, I will come back and see you later. It was a very, very long surgery. I think it was 8 or 10 hours. He looked exhausted. I was exhausted, but I felt great that he did something for me compared to nobody else would even try. So I was relieved at that, stayed in the hospital. I went back home. He explained to me that I had to keep coming back once a year to have everything tested to make sure everything was clear. It's been 7 years now. I haven't had any tumors back in the liver. I feel great. I do have pain, but that's just part of the thing. But neuroendocrine carcinoma tumors, you're never in remission. It's kind of like you have to constantly follow up every year to make sure that there's no more tumors anywhere, because they can also come back in other places again, which I had back in 2010. So I'm so relieved, because when I come here, I'm so happy to see him, talk to his assistant, Erica. She's just like a good friend. We sit there and talk for 15, 20 minutes at a time. Once a year, we get together for our visit on the phone. And then I visit with Dr. Bilchik, and it's nice because I just am so relieved that I give him, every time I see him, no matter what he says to me, and if he even says I have cancer again, I know I'm in good hands. I know I'm in good hands at St. John's. He has great staff. Everybody was treating me with love care, you know, it was nice. And they felt sorry for me, which is, you don't really get a lot of sympathy when you have a rare disease. Nobody really knows about it. So it was nice to have somebody who felt sorry for me, who cared about my disease, was willing to help me and willing to make sure that I stay in good condition. And that's what I love about Dr. Bilchik. Is one of the greatest surgeons that I feel is, and he does his very best. And he has a bedside manner that is unbelievable. But he's strict in what he wants done, what he needs done, and I'm happy to do whatever he says. You have to advocate for yourself, and you got to be the one to do it. I went home, I thought to myself, okay, maybe that's all the time I have. And then I would stir up in about another week and say, no, let's find somebody else to talk to. Let's go to another place. And that's what I did. I called, went to other places, did my due diligence, but every time I did, they just struck me down like, didn't want to hear the story. They knew the story, and this is what they were going to tell me to do. And I just kept not accepting it until you're willing to listen to a patient. And a lot of them didn't want to listen. They knew more than what I knew. And I just had this gut feeling it wasn't correct. And I stuck with my gut feeling, and thank God I did, because that's what got me to 7 years past this. Every time I went home, it'd take another week before I would get the nerve and the gumption to say, okay, let's try again and again and again. And finally, after it was about close to 5 months, that's when I found Dr. Bilchik. And every year I come back, and every year I get a good report, but I stick to what he told me to do, Dr. Bilchik, and that's what I do. At this point, now I can feel comfortable saying a doctor that knows what he's talking about and is willing to help out. I don't think I would go anywhere else, and I will follow Bilchik to the end of the moon if he moved anywhere else. And I'll drive no matter what, just like I come here or fly here every year to make sure that I get the best care possible, because I know the staff is good, the surgery team is excellent. And I thank him for saving my life, and I always give him a big hug because he's one of the best.